What is going on, my good people? Welcome one, welcome all. Thank y'all so much for stopping by. This is Unnecessary Rambling, a channel about video games. But today we're not talking video games. Well, we're kind of talking video games. We're just talking collecting in general. But this comes from the world of film collecting, movie collecting. This passionate video that I'm making here today. I was doing my doom scroll as I do, and I ran across this tweet where Adam Halvick says we had a good run, boys, and it shows that he's clearing off his shelves and putting his Blu-rays and 4K and DVDs into these bins to presumably sell them off. And it's like, sure, I didn't think anything of it, but then I scrolled through the comments and I'm like, oh my God. And nothing overly, negative, but it's just a lot of the same opinion of, you'll regret your choices one day. You're going to regret it. No. This feels like a funeral. Never sell those and keep your DVD player. This will be a treasure trove someday. Plus, owning physical media is elite in actual ownership. This is why I gave up on physical media, because it eventually leads to this. And it's like a lot of these responses over and over and over, like, not hateful or anything. I don't think any of these people are wrong for sharing their opinion. Like, that's just an opinion. And this is just my opinion. My opinion is I look at that dude and him potentially selling off that collection. I'm like, hell yeah, dude. That's the point. You buy a thing, an item, and when you no longer have use for that item, or if that item can serve you in a way that you feel benefits you more than sitting there on the shelf, and you use that, once again, item, thing, stuff to do that, good job. You won. You needed a new car, and you were collecting old horror movies that you bought for $20, and there were limited print runs, and now they're worth hundreds of dollars, and you got hundreds of them, and oh my God, now I got thousands of dollars sitting here on my collection, and I can go and flip this and put it towards a car, put it towards a down payment for a house. Like, if you're a Metal Jesus Rocks type, I mean, no doubt that there are collectors out there, because it's the thing. If you started collecting in your late teens and you're now 40, 50 years old, you've been doing this 30, 20 years, whatever the case may be. If you're spending thousands of dollars a year collecting, especially like if you were in the golden age of video game collecting, which I think would probably be, I don't know, early 2010s or so, maybe even a little bit earlier, like 2008, 2009, you were getting stuff for no money. You were hitting those yard sales, flea markets, pawn shops, whatever the case may be, and you were buying, those games costed no money. You were getting stuff for $1, $2, and now you're reselling it for 50, 60, whatever the case may be. You can, once again, I don't think anyone should ever get into the world of collecting anything for value, because I just think that's fool's gold. You're not, more often than not, you're not going to end up in the green. You're going to end up taking a hit on everything that you buy and then resell. But once again, that's okay too, in my opinion. That should be the point of all of this. Is I bought a thing. That's the benefit of physical media, right? Where, like, you see the comment where he's saying, this is why I gave up on physical media. It always leads to this. Always leads to what? You bought a thing, and now you're able to sell the thing when it has served its purpose, and you actually get money back, and you can go buy a new thing with that money. That's glorious. That's the whole point of physical media, or that's one of the key points of physical media, is to have value, a tangible product that provides real value to you. Long-term value. Not saying it's an investment. It's not an investment. Should never be looked at as an investment. But it should be looked at as a thing, as an item. And I think we run into a really interesting, like, philosophical sort of conundrum here, where there does seem to be a very thin line between, like, hoarder mentality and collector mentality. And whenever I see these passionate responses that are skewing negative towards somebody selling their collection off, and a lot of the common complaint, or a lot of the common criticism, reply, whatever term you want to use, is something to the effect of, You're going to regret it. Don't do this. Never sell your collection. It's like, that does seem to be bordering into hoarder mentality. You know, like I just recently sold Mind's Eye. You want me to hold on to my copy of Mind's Eye? I played it for a few hours. I was like, I don't like this. This isn't good. So I took it back to GameStop, and sure, I didn't get my value out of it. I paid whatever $60 for it, and I think I got like 30. So I took a hit. No doubt about it. But guess what? If I would have bought it on the PlayStation Store, I would have been able to get nothing back. That money would be gone. You know? Every month that I subscribe to Netflix, to Game Pass, to all of these services, I get nothing out of it. And the moment I cancel it, I don't even get the game. I don't even get the movie. Paid hundreds of dollars. Month after month. You know, well, you're paying $20 a month, whatever the case. But you stick around for enough months and you're paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars over the course of a year. And you got nothing out of it. You get memories, which is great. I love a lot of those movies. I love a lot of those games that I played on Game Pass. I have nothing tangible from those. Nothing that the money that I put into that, I got nothing out of it but memories. There's nothing I can do to recoup any of the cost. And that's just, it just kind of, once again, going back to that entire point of, I just wish people wouldn't look at this as an L. Wouldn't look at this as a loss. Wouldn't look at somebody selling off their collection as like this, you know, betrayal of sorts. This is the point. This is why we should buy. This is why we should continue to support physical media. Is because when the day comes where you no longer need it, or you no longer want it, or you're moving, you're downsizing, you can think, I mean, there's so many scenarios I could just go on and on. You're 64. You're about to get to that retirement age next year. And you're like, you know, I want to go grab a camper. I want to travel the world. And I've been collecting games for the past 50 years. And I got tens of thousands of dollars, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, once again, you get into that Metal Jesus Rocks territory. You get into people who have been doing this for a hot minute and really, really out there. They could buy a house with their game collection. So you're sitting there at 65 and you're like, shit, I sure wouldn't mind throwing a little bit of extra money into this mutual fund, stacking up a couple, and you know, let's just say $30,000, $40,000, putting that on top of my current investment, and I'm going into retirement age. I want to grab a camper. I'm not going to have space for this stuff anymore. It served its purpose. And now you're getting into those glory years, and you're able to kick back in what you bought, what you spent all that time and money on for the last, you know, multiple decades is now going to benefit you greatly. It's the point. This is a win. This is a good thing, man. This should be celebrated. This is one of the most, if not the most valuable aspect of physical media, is the literal ownership that 30 years after buying this product, you still have options. You can still do things with this product to benefit you. And it's like, who is it benefiting at all? Damn, hit the damn microphone. I apologize there, guys. I'm too passionate. I'm ranting and raving, punching. I'm throwing my damn Roy Jones Jr. jabs. Who is it benefiting? This stuff just sitting on our shelves in perpetuity. The publishers? I mean, it's not even benefiting them at a certain point. They already got their win. You know, when we bought the game in 2007 for $70, or back in the day, the good old days, we weren't paying $70 for our video games. But whenever we bought the game back in the day, and we spent the $60, $50, that's they got their win there. You know, we bought the game from them, full price. And then we were like, hell yeah, we love this game. We want to buy it full price so that we can get more games like it. Or you know, the best case scenario, you, like I said, you hit the yard sales and you got something real cheap, and then, you know, but regardless of all that, it's like, I don't understand who it's benefiting to just hang on to it forever. And once again, that's another great thing about physical media is that you can just hang on to it forever if you want to. That's a totally valuable option as well. But I don't understand why that has to be so ingrained in people's minds of like, this is what you should do. And if you don't do this, then there's something wrong with that behavior. And it's like, I don't know. I completely disagree, and passionately disagree, I suppose. But I just saw that tweet and saw the responses to the tweet, and I was so confused. And I mean, I've seen this time and time again of people sharing this sentiment, and it just always confuses me. I don't really understand why people want to. I'll be real. I don't understand why people want to hoard stuff forever. You know, I don't really have any intention on selling my collection. And I honestly, like, I don't even know for myself. It's like, why do I hang on to as much of the stuff that I hang on to? You know, like, there is a lot of this stuff that probably could benefit me from just selling it off now. But it's like, I don't, in the current situation, like, I don't have much of a need to resell it. But you best believe I start hitting retirement period. I start hitting like, there will be a time where I sell probably the entirety of my collection, and I'll obviously go through and I'll cherry pick and I'll keep the things that I really want to replay, and anything in my collection I'm like, once again, that's the value of it though. That's the beauty. I have options. I'll be able to go through, scan my collection, and be like, okay, I'll probably replay this in the next 10 years before I die. I'll replay this in the next 10 years before I die when I'm 65 or whatever. And no chance I'm hitting 65. But anywho, if I can somehow make it to that age, I'll be going through my collection, picking them out, and, you know, I'll grab a few hundred games out of my collection, stick those to the side of like, yep, I'm definitely going to be replaying those, and I'll sell the rest of it. That's the beauty. That's the entire beauty, is I will have that option that I absolutely would not have with digital media, you know? And so it's just, yeah, this hit my brain, and I had a lot of thoughts that I wanted to get off today. So I apologize for the ranting and the raving, but yeah, I just think that we run the risk of starting to view this stuff as having more meaning than it should. You know, like, listen, I love video games more than 99.9% of people on the planet. But at the same time, it is an item. You know what I mean? It's a thing that you spent money for, and it's the glory of, I have an item that I can go and do something with this item. Like, that's such a win. I have an item that I can lend to a friend. I have an item that I can display on the shelves behind me. It's there's so many benefits of physical media, but I really want to emphasize that, like, one of the main benefits is the options that it provides you. And I don't think we should demonize the idea of selling off your collection. You know, there's going to be situations in every person's life where if you have a massive collection, it will benefit you to sell it off. There's going to be a certain point where you need a new car, a certain point where you need whatever situation that arises, and to, like, feel this level of guilt for selling your collection in a moment of need is, like, bordering on some, you know, I'm not a mental health specialist, but it's like, that's a little fucking weird. I think we could all maybe agree on that. If there's a situation that arises where you could really benefit your life from selling your collection off, but you have some, and listen, I think we all have attachment to these items, to this stuff, but it's like, dude, at the end of the day, if you could benefit your life greatly by selling stuff to actually benefit your real world, like your real life, a medical situation arises and you're like, oh damn, well, I need to sell something real quick to pay off this medical debt, or, you know, my car is breaking down, I need to fix the whatever the hell is wrong with your car. It's just, yeah, I feel like I could go on and on about this forever. I have a lot of thoughts on this topic, but overall, don't feel guilt if you ever need to sell your collection. don't feel guilt if you ever want to sell your collection. It's there to be like, you bought this stuff. It's yours. You paid your hard-earned money for it. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do with it. And yeah, so I guess that's my rant for the day. And listen, I get it. You know, there's so many. I couldn't get rid of so many games in my collection that I could never get rid of ever. They just mean so much to me. But I just buy games. Like, I go out, and if there's something I really want to play, or if there's something I just want to play a little bit, I just go, I'll go and buy it. I'll go and check it out. And sometimes the game that I wanted to play turns out being something that I don't like a lot, like Mind's Eye, or even like Death Stranding 2. I returned Death Stranding 2 recently. It's like, you know, anything Hideo Kojima puts out, I want to try. I didn't like Death Stranding 1. I was pretty sure I wasn't going to like Death Stranding 2. But I went and picked it up, and I got a physical copy of it because I knew, I'm probably not going to like this. And whenever I end up not liking this, I can return that physical copy and get money back. I couldn't do that if I bought it digitally. I couldn't do that if I bought it on the PlayStation Store or wherever the case may be. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, man, I just, I will always be a physical media supporter to the day that I die. I will support this format wholeheartedly. I love physical media. Anytime that it's an option for me to buy something and actually have a product, I will take that route every day, all day, and twice on Sunday. And I understand, like, there are going to be people out there who don't. And to the commenter who said, this is why I gave up on physical media collecting, because it always ends like this. There's a part of me where it's like, okay, I do understand in a situation where maybe he's looking at it from the standpoint of, he's probably moving, he's moving for work, something like that. And they're in a similar spot where they're moving a lot for work. And, you know, a traveling nurse or a whatever you do for a living that requires you're in the military and you're just moving nonstop. Yes, physical media does not benefit you in that exact scenario at that exact time, because it's just, it will become a hassle, no doubt. Or, you know, you live in a small apartment and there's different parts of the world where people don't have 2-3 bedroom houses and they're living in 1-bedroom apartments, or, you know, I get it. Small living spaces. There are reasons to, I wouldn't say be anti-physical media. I wouldn't necessarily understand anyone being anti-physical media per se, but I do understand certain situations where people choose not to collect physical media. But outside of those scenarios, it's like, this guy, this situation specifically, you know, with Adam Halvik, this is the scenario that we should all be rooting for. Where it's like, this is the reason to collect physical media. This isn't the reason to be anti-physical media. This isn't the reason to stop collecting physical media. This is the win. You know, this is a good thing when you're able to sell this stuff off and get something back. You worked your fucking ass off day in, day out, year in, year out, and you bought things, and then now you're able to sell the things and then get money back. Anywho, I feel like I'm just saying the same shit over and over at this point, but I look at that as a win. I think that's a best case scenario, is you bought stuff and the stuff is able to benefit you whenever you sell the stuff. So anywho, that's my rant for the day regarding physical media. Let me know if you think I'm crazy in the comments down below. And I'm very, very curious to see and hear other people's opinions on this, because I could see this one getting a little bit, I could see myself potentially being in the minority on this, but I have always held this belief. I've always thought it was crazy when people get so passionate and so upset about other people choosing to do whatever the hell they want to do with their physical media, with their collection. So yeah, I'll die on this hill. Listen, hit me in the comments. Yeah, I'm always open to a debate. I love a good debate, and I do hit people back in the comments. I love shooting the shit with the audience. So hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you think I'm crazy. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and I'll see you good people in the next video. Goodbye.